Now, over the past couple of years, we have seen a lot of hit and misses when it comes to Disney Star Wars. Obviously, under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, there's been a lot of misses on her part, due to, of course, really shifting away from George Lucas's vision and his philosophy of the franchise, his belief in the Star Wars world, and more. And that's exactly why a lot of fans have been divided when it came to The Last Jedi, because it was such a divisive movie, and it really had a lot of issues running with the story and how Luke was developed. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing, of course, about Disney and the Disney board members specifically is that they have been going through a rough transition ever since Bob Iger took over. Bob Iger has been trying to fire Kathleen Kennedy by August of 2023, which, by the way, is still on. However, what Iger wants to do is that he wants to keep it covered up that she was not fired, but make it appear as if she is stepping down, when in reality they are going to fire her. That's the one thing that the board members do not want Iger to do, and they're warning him that if he goes through with that, they are going to find somebody else to replace him. So, back on track here. What's going on with John, George, and Dave, and exactly how Favreau, Lucas, and Filoni are taking over Lucasfilm in various ways, holding more power over Kathleen Kennedy, both not just on a creative level, but also now more so on a business level as well. We're going to be tapping into all of this in just a second. We already know that Favreau is a very busy man. He's trying to fix scenes for the Acolyte, scenes for Skeleton Crew, in order to prevent those shows from being a total disaster. Now, on top of this, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now developing new Star Wars projects that will be announced at Celebration next year, it's noted that as of right now, Favreau and Filoni recently got an even bigger promotion thanks to Disney CEO Bob Iger in an attempt to turn things around for the Star Wars franchise. As of now, both John and Dave have accepted that recent promotion that is now giving them more privileges over Lucasfilm, that is set to go into effect during the new year for January. Now, one major, of course, privilege from this promotion involves Favreau and Filoni, as well as Lucas, holding the ability to organize the roadmap, the way that they want to actually have it over at Lucasfilm, and that this will now no longer be up to Kathleen Kennedy on the business end of things. This is yet another massive step in John, Dave, and George taking over Lucasfilm, even more so with them controlling which eras will be explored and which ones will not, and also in which specific order. So, let me just stop right here for a second. Now, we already know that everything related to the overall franchise, alright, is that John and Dave want to expand to different eras of the actual series, right? They want to explore things like the Old Republic, which they're working on, a post-Episode 9 era, which, by the way, is being worked on very much smoothly right now. They're not so much geared to the High Republic era. That's one thing that John and Dave are not all that passionate about, because of how it shifts away from that Star Wars-y feeling, shifts away from George's philosophy of the franchise. And I think that's one major reason why a lot of fans remain skeptical about The Acolyte, because it is a High Republic TV show. Let's just be honest, it is. It's set at the very tail end of the High Republic, yes, but it is in that particular era. Now, the thing about John and Dave now is that they have complete control over the roadmap. What does this really mean? Well, this means a lot of things, actually, and a lot of great things. This means that they are going to be calling the shots on how long Star Wars shows are going to be, how long each episodes are going to be, things like budgeting, how high of a quality of a show it's going to be, when it comes to the marketing as well, how it's going to get promoted. All these different things are now going into John, George, and Dave's favor, and allowing them to make those very, specific decisions. But it doesn't stop there, because Bob Iger, of all people, right? The guy that got so much criticism over the years from the fans because of what he allowed Kennedy to do with the sequel trilogy movies, is now making at least a very, logical decision that actually makes a lot of sense. And I think that at the end of the day, I mean, obviously, it's either a desperation or him being very frightened about this, franchise failing under his wing. He doesn't want that. He wants Marvel and Star Wars to succeed in ways that we would have never seen before if it were to stay under, let's say, for example, another CEO. So Bob Iger really wants to create that legacy. And as much as I still hold a lot of criticism over the guy, I gotta give him credit for doing what Bob Chapek also did, was giving John, George, and Dave promotions over at Lucasfilm and allowing George to also be intact with this decision-making process with John and Dave, so to speak. So, beyond that too, alright, now they will also choose how long certain shows and seasons of shows will be and how much money will be poured into the marketing of those actual installments after approval from Disney board members. This is a big step for them. Both, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, as of late, is said to be having many issues with all of this right now. Additionally, George Lucas will also be helping out with the marketing end of the roadmap with Favreau, and also has been given privileges with Favreau to make these choices just as much as both John and Dave are. Now, that's the good news about this, because you can see that Bob Iger is trying to insert George Lucas in spirit over at Lucasfilm, which, by the way, is and was always George's company, Now, the thing about this, too, is that when you look at everything related to Lucasfilm over the years, they've made a lot of bad calls. I mean, let's be honest here. They've made a lot of bad calls that really fell flat, and a lot of fans were very unhappy with some of the decision-making process that Kathleen Kennedy, initiated. And this is finally the remedy. This is the resolution. There's no doubt about that. Having George, John, and Dave making those very important decisions about the roadmap, about marketing, budgeting, how long these shows are going to be, how quality-driven they're going to be. It's really going to serve a great purpose. There's no doubt about that. The biggest question that I have of all, however, is how far is Disney willing to go if they hit a couple of bumps in the road again? That really makes, a lot of fans wonder, how persistent, I should say, is Disney going to be with obtaining Star Wars success? And if they have John and Dave truly on the table for this, I have no, doubts in my mind about that process. And that's me speaking the truth here. I have no doubts in my mind about John and Dave creating a consistent flow of successful, satisfying Star Wars installments. Again, look at what we're getting right now. We got Bad Batch 2, we've got Mando Season 3, we've got Ahsoka, which, by the way, is labeled as the home run of Disney Plus Star Wars. And then we got, of course, yes, I know, Skeleton Crew and Acolyte, which are Kathleen Kennedy projects. Not a lot of fans are looking forward to that, but that's the one little blip that we might have. And then after that, you got all John and Dave content for 10 years plus, if everything goes right. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.